With what is an industrial and organizational psychology. We have been talking so much about various concepts, why it is so important in any organization. If you want to help the organization recruit people, select people, train people, and in case there is some issue, compensate them, we all talk about this under the ambit of what is known as industrial or organizational psychology. So this is one of the very important concepts that we need to understand. Now, when there is an organization that functions, what the idea is to definitely increase the productivity. So to increase the productivity, it would be a twofold objective. Either you can motivate the employees and therefore increase the productivity, or bring in better resources that would make the work relatively faster and improve productivity. When I say human resources, you can motivate them in two ways. Either it can be an intrinsic motivation where the person is willing to improve the future. So it is something that comes from within. The next is an extrinsic motivation, which is motivated by outside. The company would give a gift card, a reward, a kind of recognition, accomplishment, and that is external. So we call this as extrinsic motivation. Now, what is the key difference between motivation and achievement? Very important to understand. Both motivation and achievement are socio-cultural processes. Both are there to improve your life. But when I say achievement, it is a tendency to strive towards excellence. The idea is to excel. However, when I say motivation, the idea is the initiation to focus on the goal. So idea under motivation is initiation, energization for the goal. However, under achievement, we say excelling for something is the basis. So motivation, I can say, is the major factor which brings in achievement. Clear? So since we have to focus on achievement motivation, we started with motivation. However, we have already covered this in our previous lecture. Now, how do we cultivate intrinsic motivation? For example, mother says that I would give you certain rupees for everything. So you are controlling the reward. Now the child says, as long as you will pay, I will study. So it is an extrinsic motivation. But let's say the mother tells that your grades are very nice, your teacher has given very good remarks about you. So this is a intrinsic motivation. Child develops a feeling that yes, this is something which I have done and I love doing it. So it is internal to the child and we say it is an intrinsic motivation. So how intrinsic motivations can be cultivated is very, very important. There have been various researches which have been done. For example, Tripathi talked about permanent workers, workers with higher salaries and lower caste workers. They are more relatively satisfied as compared to the other groups. The reason being, there have been incentive factors which are associated to it, and those incentive factors give them a better benefit to move or progress in a company. Similarly, Singhal and Upadhyay did various studies and said that workers, irrespective of their caste, religion, education, if they are given opportunities, they grow. So there is certain motivation that lies within them, and we call this as an intrinsic motivation. So to promote achievement motivation, which is tendency to excel in whatever situation is there, is determined with certain steps. What are those? First, you analyze your goals. You lay down what is the thing that you need to focus on. Then you distinguish the outcomes under a controlled situation versus under a situation where your achievement motivation has been fully placed. So comparison of the outcomes is done. Then realistic objectives are established. We realize the realities of the life and progress on basis of the realities of the life. We do self-exploration, and finally there is creativity. So all these are the steps which are involved with developing or promoting achievement motivation. Extrinsic motivation, we already discussed what it is. Now next is the conflict situation. There are various conflict situations. Approach. Now I'll take a very simple example to understand all of those. Now let's say there is a birthday party and there is a invitation by your close family member for a family function. Okay, so I'll just mention it as a family function. So birthday party with friend or family function, you want to attend both. So it is a approach conflict. You want to go to the birthday party as well as go to your family friends. Now the next is approach avoidance. Birthday party and exam. One is where you want to go, the other is where you want to avoid. Okay. The next is exam, and the another avoidance phenomena I could say would be any danger situation of which you are afraid. So it is a avoidance situation. Double approach avoidance is an interesting phenomena. It's a very interesting phenomena rather. So what happens, there is a conflict stage. In one job you have a very good salary. So salary is very good, but the work is absolutely not in your interest. In the other case, the salary is very bad, but the work is what you extremely like. So it is a double approach avoidance. There are two parameters which you are taking into equal weightage. One is approach, other is avoidance, and on the other hand also one is approach, one is avoidance. So we say it is a double approach avoidance. And similarly, if there are many such combinations of negatives and positives running together, we call this as a multiple approach avoidance behavior. Clear? So that is where we have the various conflict situations.